Hi everyone, my name is Michael Leader. I'm chair of the International Seed Federation's Phytosanitary Committee. Sorry that we're not meeting in person this year, but it's great that I've got the opportunity to provide you with a video chat of some of the progress of the committee over the last year, and also some of the challenges and prospects for the next year as well. Look, I want to give three major highlights from my first year as a chair of the committee, coming in since Nice last year. I think as soon as I started, we found out that indeed the Secretariat was going to be moving on, Dennis Johnson. And so one of our major highlights this year was finding an appropriate replacement, some big shoes to fill. But I think we've got successful, and I'd like to formally welcome Dr. Rose Souza Richards to the position of Seed Health Manager. I know she's hit the ground running, and I'd like to formally welcome her in front of the entire membership. I'd also like to take the opportunity, of course, to thank Dennis for his hard work while he was looking after the committee, as well as Frank Claessens and Michael Keller for the quick work in being able to fill that position as quickly as we did. And I know Jabi also filled in for a little bit there while there was a gap. So thank you as well. I think that was one highlight. Another, I think, major highlight that I want to focus on is some progress we made in terms of seed movement here. I know that the COVID-19 crisis has really put a dent in some of the issues that we've planned to do as a committee. But I also know that, and I want to thank the ISF Secretariat for an important role that they played in some global statements in relation to the COVID-19 crisis, and particularly the importance that seed movement can continue to play and needs to play during this time. And we've put out a number of statements that I know were taken up by national seed associations and did help in their advocacy to have seed movement and the seed industry included as an essential service. And I think we've had a fair amount of success in that regard. So that's been an important part of the role that we've had to play. Nobody planned at all. But even so, despite that, we've also managed to try and progress some of the ISPM 38 and pest list work. We've tried to take that to a number of governments to see about reducing some of the regulatory burden on seed movement around the globe. I think we've had some success in a number of countries there. The Philippines this year, thanks for the work there with the National Seed Association, but we did manage to have them review their current regulated pest lists in light of the information on the ISF pest list database, and indeed were successful in having some reductions there. We've also made applications in New Zealand and in Argentina as well to review their pest list for certain crops. We hope that we can get some positive stories as a result of this that we can share with other national seed associations in the hope that we can do something to give them confidence that this can happen at a local level around the globe. We've also managed to put in place some talking points quickly when new regulations are coming around by governments, and we've been successful there too in getting actual exporting governments to put in comments during World Trade Organization notification periods. There's more we can do, but I think we've managed to do a lot in this year as well. So that seed movement piece has been fundamental to the role of the Phytosanitary Committee this year. The last highlight I want to touch on just briefly is the systems approach work. I think we all had a presentation on that at the last in Nice as well, and we do know that there's an international work now to try and put in place a global system based on quality health systems of seed companies. The Phytosanitary Committee's Systems Approach Working Group has done a lot of work in that space this year. We've managed to put some educational material and a briefing paper together on the current situation and the concept for national seed associations. We've managed to reach out to the steward early, who's going to be working at the International Plant Protection Convention this year to progress this work at the international government level. We've also set in place a number of working groups to progress some of the interesting concepts that will be discussed as part of this work. For one, we're trying to capture some current current seed practices that are going on in relation to a particular crop, in the hope that we can discuss this as a particular system with governments. We've also tried to put in place a pilot study with a number of governments as well. And last but not least, we're looking at emerging pest reporting from the seed industry to try and build trust with governments. That's quite a bit in 1 year. And I'd like to thank all the committee and Rose and Dennis for the work they've done. All of this is actually going to be supporting the ISF strategic objectives for 2016 to 2020. It's quite clear, as you know, that the movement of seed is indeed actually one of the key pillars there. It's actually listed there as a key pillar for 2016 and to 2020. And that's really, I think, that's shown us that the very real reason that seed movement is not, we don't have freedom to operate in that space at this moment. And seed movement is fundamental to the seed industry's business model. We've got to get this right if we want this industry to be as successful as it can be. The ISF Pest List Initiative work has shown that almost 80% of pests being regulated in the world at the moment on seed should not be regulated on seed, either because seed is not a pathway or even worse, it's not even on that crop. So what the Seed Industry's Phytosanitary Committee is trying to do at the ISF was established to lead our efforts to try and harmonise this when global government advocacy is required. And I can tell you that this will still be needed in the strategic objectives going onward, as well as there's still a lot of work in this space. I said there's a lot of more work to be done, and certainly this year, going forward, the next steps for 2020-21 for the committee. I think, look, the world is hopefully coming out of the COVID-19 crisis, but you know, when it does, governments are going to be looking at ways to protect their food and their economic security, and there's a whole beautiful role for the seed industry to take a leading part in this if we get it right. I think in terms of looking at ways to make the movement of seed easier, right, through implementation of e-phyto solutions, but also in reducing the number of regulated pests. I think we've already had a great interaction and more interaction than we have normally. This has provided an opportunity to reach out to national plant protection organisations, and I think it's a good opportunity to use this going forward to try and take that leading role to progress the kind of harmonisation of regulatory requirements and reduction of regulated pests that we might be needed to make this even better to ensure food security around the globe. It's going to be a big year for the systems approach as well, to be honest. They will start work at the International Plant Protection Convention in terms of writing specifications for work on an annex to ISPM 38. And they're also going to start work on getting a technical expert group together for this. We will put together talking points and be at the forefront of this discussion, but we also need a lot of work and help from national seed associations to help in the advocacy in this space. We really hope to have our models and our work and story together at the right time as well. So we will continue to be working in this space. I think we can do better as well in terms of responding to emerging issues. And I really look forward to working with the newly formed Seed Health Group so that the great technical work we do can be matched as well as possible with the advocacy and the regulatory policy piece that the Phytosanitary Committee does. And we need to hear from you as well. If there are issues, please don't hesitate to get in contact with either Rose or myself. Early warning of issues gives us the best chance of addressing them as well. So with that, I'd like to thank everybody for the opportunity to chair the Phytosanitary Committee, and I wish you all the best for 2020-2021. Thank you very much.